Okay, hey guys, it's Miss Suzanne, and this video we're going to talk about zeros in the multiplier. So, when you have zeros in the multiplier, you can take shortcuts to get your final answer. So what I'm first going to do is I am going to work this problem the long way. Then I'm going to show you the same problem where I do it taking a shortcut or working it the short way. All right, so traditionally what we would do is what we talked about today in class. We're going to multiply by the ones, and 5 times 6 is 30, and then 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 is 28, and then 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 gives me 17. Okay, so then normally what I would do is I would cross out the 5, put a 0 to hold my spot, and now I got to multiply by the tens, which, guys, y'all can see is 0. Well, if I multiply 0 times 6, I get 0, 0 times 5, I get 0, and 0 times 3, I get 0. Because remember, these I had crossed out. So what I end up with is a whole row of zeros that really we don't need. So to continue, then what I would do is I would put zeros to hold the ones and the tens. Now I'm going to multiply by the hundreds, which is 6 times 2 is 12, times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Add them all together, and we get 0, 8, 9, 2, 7. So I have 72,980. Okay? Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the short way, or the shortcut. So I still have to multiply by the ones like I always do. So we get 30, then we get 28, and then we get 17. So you notice I have the same over on the other side. Okay, so I still cross out the 5, put 1 0 to hold my place. But now what I'm going to do, you know, if you multiply by 0, you're going to get the same row of zeros that you've gotten. Why not just go ahead, cross out the 0, put a 0 to hold my spot, and now what I can do is I can multiply times the 2, which is in the hundreds place, and I get 12, and then I get 11, and then I get 7. All right, so, and if you notice, these, the second row and the third row, they're still the same, right? So that is the shortcut. We just got rid of your row of zeros. Then you add, you get 0, 8, 9, 2, 7. So I have the exact same answer. It's just I did it the short way. Okay, guys, now it's time for you to pause the video and try it. I want to see what you can do when you see a 0 in the 1 spot, if you can figure out what the shortcut would be. Okay, so hopefully you figured out what the shortcut would be. If I say 0 times 6 times 3 times 9, I would get a whole row of zeros, but I don't really want those, okay? And think about your mental math. If I had 25 times 10, we would just say that that is 250. Add a 0 and then keep going, correct? Well, we don't want to, I don't want to keep doing that. So what I would do is, let's see if I can get this to go away. Oops, sorry. I'm going to have that go away up there. So here's what your shortcut would be. You would say 6 times, you would cross out the ones, put a 0 to hold your ones place. Now we're going to go ahead and say 7 times 6, which is 42. And then 21 plus 2 is 25. Then 7 times 9 is 63, plus 2 is 65. Then, since I am done with the tens place, I cross it out. I put 2 zeros to hold my spots, and then I'm going to multiply times 100. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 2 times 9 is 18. Okay, and so now we're going to add our partial products. Whereas before we had 3 rows to add, now we're only going to have 2 rows because we took that shortcut. Okay, so you add up everything and we get 0, 2, 7, 12, and then 7 and 8 is 15, carry a 1, and that's 2. So 252,720. Okay, let's see how you did on the other one. So the shortcut, what we're going to do, since we have a 0 in the multiplier, remember the bottom number is the number that you multiply by, which is the multiplier. I cross it out, put a 0 to hold my spot. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And then times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Okay, now I've multiplied by the tens. So I have 2 numbers crossed out in my multiplier. I need 2 numbers crossed out, 2 zeros down to hold my spot. Then I say 3 times 7 is 21. All right, 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. And then 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Then we have 0, 4, 2, 16, 4, and 1. So 146,240. All right, so let's try it again. Hit pause and see if you can solve these using the shortcut. So what we have is, I'm going to multiply by the 5s because that's in my 1's place. So I get 5 and then 4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2, and then 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, I've multiplied by my 1's, so I put a 0 to hold my spot. Then in the tens place, I have a 0, so what I'm going to do, instead of having a whole row of zeros there in my partial products, I'm just going to cross it out and add another 0. Now I multiply times the 100. So in this row, it would be 600 times 4,059. All right? So that's how you need to think about it. So over here, I'm going to say 6 times, cross these out. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 5 is 30. Plus 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And then 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, add my 2 sums together, or my 2 partial products, sorry. That's 5, 9, 4, and 2 is 6, 5, 5, 4, and then 2. So 2,455,695. All right, let's see what we got for the next one. So the next we're going to have, let's see. Okay, this time I have 2 zeros in the 1's and the 10's place. It's just like mental math, guys. Since there's 2 zeros there, I go ahead and I add 2 zeros to hold those spots. And I go ahead and multiply by 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 7 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 4 is 28. And so that one was easy. We got 2,802,800. Okay, 2 more just to practice. And remember, I said you might be seeing these in your math notebook. Hopefully you are realizing that that's where I got these from. So hit pause and then see if you can get the answer. And then if you get them wrong, make sure in your math notebook, make sure you make the corrections. All right, so I'm going to say 9 times 8, which is 72. 9 times 0 is 0 plus 7 is 7. And then 9 times 5 is 45. Cross out the 9, put a 0 to hold its spot. I'm going to take a shortcut. So since that's a 0 in the 10 spot, I go ahead and add another 0. Now I'm going to multiply by my 7. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 0 is 0 plus 5 is 5. And then 7 times 5 is 35. Add these together. So we have 2, 7, 11, let's see, 10, 6, and 3. So 360,172. Okay, and for our last one, we're going to multiply by the 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 1 is 25. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 2 is 34. And then 8 times 7 is 56 plus 3 is 59. Put a 0 to hold your place. In the tens place, we have another 0, so we can go ahead and add one more 0 to hold that spot, and we're going to multiply times your 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And again, notice how my numbers are all lined up. It makes it easier, and I'm writing neatly and spacing out, so it's making it easier for me to work these problems. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 2 is 34. And then 8 times 7 is 56, plus 3 is 69. No, not 69, sorry, 59. Because what I was going to say, you should see the same digits, just more zeros. Because I have 5 in the first row, 5, 9, 4, 5, 6. In the second row, 5, 9, 4, 5, 6, and then 0, 0. Which makes sense because it was 808. All right, so add, so I get 6, 5, 10. 10 and 5 is 15. 6 and 4 is 10. 9 and 1 is 10. And then 1 and 5 is 6. So that was a 0, by the way. So 6,005,056. All right. So thank you, as always, so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday, guys. Bye.